Despite not having any strikers, we've won every single game since we switched to the 4-3-1-2 that we used at Tottenham. If this is a super tactic, why was it so rubbish for 20 seasons with every other team we tried it with? Hello and welcome to part 7 of the German leg of the expedition for gold of gold. I will start getting that right at some point. It's not like it's on a t-shirt or anything. I'm Kevin. Coming up on today's episode, we're at home to RB Leipzig in the Bundesliga, and then we're away against Sporting in the Champions League. Since you were last with me, as suggested in my little intro there, we're just winning lots of games. We've had the 7-0 we had against Salzburg, but then a 1-0, a 6-0, a 1-0, a 4-1. Can't believe we conceded a goal for the first time since Rangers, and then a 1-0, which we scraped our way through. But luckily, in fact, you can't see from there because he wasn't in the team, but we now have a fit Ginrich Berger again to go up front. What's his face? Malashev is still injured for another couple of weeks. You're not going to see him again today, but we do have two strikers again, although Berger isn't really fit. Gruber's probably going to feel a little bit hard done by to be dropping down to the bench, but to be fair, despite the fact his physical stats are very good, but despite the fact that he's been looking good whenever you've been seeing him, he's not actually scored a goal yet in the league. So 6 games without a goal does not a striker make. So he's going to be dropped to the bench today. And this is the team that we're going to be playing Leipzig with. So we've got Clementino in goal, a back four of Lafarge, Magath, Orlandi and Chesney. Toyneson, Anicic and Mikkels are in midfield with Di Maria in behind Berger and Clemente. Di Maria is on 12 goals from 13 games at the moment and is just the best player in the Bundesliga. And he didn't exist a year ago. It's weird when you add extra leagues to this game. It does make me feel like I should be sending my scouts to go and check out China and Brazil and what else did we add? USA, South Africa, and just send them scouts. Would it be cheating if I sent my scouts out to scout those areas? We didn't specifically go looking at Argentina. He just came up on a scout report. So I guess we must have had a scout hovering down in Argentina, maybe? I don't really know how he appeared so soon after reaching existence, but I don't know. I think it probably would be cheating to game the system and send my scouts down to these newly added leagues, because in real life there wouldn't be newly added leagues and there wouldn't be players springing into existence. So if they come up organically on our scout reports, we're all right. If we go out looking for them, we're drifting too far away from my LLM roots, he says, in the Bundesliga, where he knows a win could take him top of one of the biggest leagues in the world. So we've escaped from LLM a little bit. We're still playing with lower league management principles, though, and that means that we can't go sniffing around all the new South African players that will have hit the database. All this talk of super tactics, by the way, that was a really uneventful first half. Leipzig have had more of the ball. They've only had one shot and they missed, but we're struggling to get hold of the ball. We've only had 4 shots ourselves. We have gone 1-0 up through Di Maria because he's got his 13th goal of the season and he's just not human. That's awesome. And that does put us top of the league as things stand right now. So that's a bit of a turnaround from where we were, 2 games into the season, and I was genuinely panicking that I'd be sacked by October. We're now in a position with Dortmund still having their very, very shaky start that they're not really recovering from. We could genuinely go on and win the league this year, which would be that would be a bigger achievement than anything we did at Tottenham. They haven't finished in the top 3 for the last 2 years. We were in financial problems when I arrived, and I've not exactly improved them. But I think if we can keep this current form going and pull off the unthinkable and win this league, that's a massive achievement. And plus, it means we get to move on from Germany and go and check out a new country sooner rather than later, which would be splendid. I mean, that fits in perfectly with what we're trying to achieve. Why has that all gone greyed out? That's weird. Why would it do? I don't know what just happened. That's new. I've not seen that before. and Clementina collects well from the cross. Let's build again from the back. Now would be a good time for us to go and grab a goal. The last 2 times I've said that over recent episodes, it actually went on and happened, to the point where I'm starting to worry that you think I do these the way I do the FIFA. I thought we were actually going to do it the way I do the FIFA videos and record them in advance and then commentate over. Luckily, we've just proven that no, these are full-on live comms. That's why we keep the boring bits in, because Kev can't stop talking long enough to be able to edit out the boring bits. We could never do Football Manager the way we do FIFA, because I don't have lulls in the conversation, because I'll just waffle on throughout. We're going to bring Gruber on, stick Berger into his preferred advanced forward position, which we probably should have done before the match. That's what we... Is that what we did before? Or did we have him as a complete forward before? He only really played there 1 game, I think. Anicic can come off and bring on Balbiano, and we'll stick Toynerson back as the central midfielder on defence. We could have brought Cambon on actually and pushed Szczesny further forward rather than wasting Toynerson. But then we need to get game time into Balbiano. He's probably feeling more hard done by than anybody that he's not getting in this team, because he was the wonder kid who was here before we started signing wonder kids. We will bring Cambon on now and push Szczesny further forward, allowing Toynerson to go back into a more threatening attacking position. And we now have a very young, very talented midfield 3. And we're having another one of these weird games. We seem to only have 2 ways of playing at the moment. We either absolutely tear a team apart and score an absolute ton of goals, or we sort of labour to a smaller win, although we've now made it 2-0. Gruber finally getting that first league goal after I criticised him pre-match for not having one yet. And that complicates my selection issues a little bit going into the Sporting game. It's a nice finish from Gruber as well. He wasn't even looking at the goal. Just, I think I'm going to score, I'll just look away. It'll be fine. And that should be that, because we do have a very good defence. And when we go in the lead, I've never felt as confident as I do with this Bayern team that once we go into the lead, we won't let a load of goals in. Even at Tottenham, when we were on the big, long, unbeaten run, there was always a, yeah, but we're a bit ropey at the back. We don't have that here, and it's awesome. Let's go and play a Champions League game. Here we go. First signs of overconfidence. We're about to be dragged back down to earth with a bump. I am resting Di Maria for a Champions League game. 2 reasons. Firstly, remember, we're not here to win the Champions League. We're here to win the Bundesliga. We've won the Champions League twice before. If a long Champions League run is actually going to detract from our chances of winning the Bundesliga, so it wouldn't be the worst thing in the world if we got knocked out quarterfinals-ish. We don't want to get knocked out right now. We don't want the confidence battering of getting knocked out in the group stages. But it would be quite nice to draw Tottenham in the quarterfinals, get knocked out, and not have to worry about it anymore and be able to focus on the league. So there's that. And there's also the fact that, you know, if we're going to rest him, we'll rest him for this one. Gruber was very good when he came on. We need to find a way to get him back into the team. And we've got a lot of good attacking players now, and they can't all play every single game. I just hope we don't break Di Maria by taking all the momentum off of him. But we shall see. The only other changes we've made, we've got Yul coming in at left back and Montes coming back in at centre back because he was suspended in the league. And then who was in midfield? I can't remember which one of those we've just brought in. We made so many changes. One of them two's come into the midfield because someone dropped out of it. I don't remember what's just happened. Anyway, we've gone to a counter-attacking system on structured. We are away from home in the Champions League. We've had an excellent start to the group. 2 wins from 2. And if we can go to Sporting and pick up a draw, that'll be an absolutely splendid result. So we're quite happy to go there, defend. In theory, it's what this Bayern team was supposed to be able to do when we first arrived. We were very impressed with the defensive situation we had here when we turned up. And yes, we've scored lots of goals lots of times this season, but we also kept an awful lot of clean sheets during that time as well. So let's not get away too far from the fact that we are still a very, very good defensive team. And look at those stats. For half an hour into the game, there's not been a shot on target yet, because when we decide we're shutting down a game, we shut down a game. We're on the attack. We get the first highlight of the game. Gruber's in. He makes it 1-0. The first on-target shot of the entire game is Gruber's 5th of the season. Who's Di Maria? Well, we don't need him. We've got our own youngster who came through, Maximilian Gruber. Someone mentioned in the comments a couple of days ago that he's the new Piero. He is absolutely not the new Piero. Piero was rubbish and just played out of his skin for us. Gruber is the real deal. If anything, Gruber's the new Oscar. He's come through the Bayern youth system. He's still very, very young, and he is exceptionally talented. Perhaps not on Oscar's level, but I mean, looking at him, hold on, those stats, these stats. Look at that heart shape for an attacking midfielder. That's what we want. He's going to be some player as he gets a little bit older. He is not the new Piero. The new Vendrig, maybe, because he'll end up playing as a striker. But did I mention we tried to sign Vendrig in the summer? He came up on our scout reports. He's unsettled at Tottenham. We made an offer, just a straight swap Vukotic for Vendrig, because Tottenham are playing with wingers. Now, they've got Liam Wells out on the right wing for the last 18 months. So, you know, they might as well sign a proper right winger and play Wells where he's supposed to be played. But they weren't interested at all. They wanted Vukotic plus £50 million for Vendrig. So I just chuckled and walked out. And that was that. Vendrig's now injured. He's been injured ever since. So clearly he had his heart set on the move and is now faking injury until they let him join us. Don't really need him now. Now Gruber's emerged. Probably not required. We'll take Anicic off, bring on Szczesny just to shore things up a little bit in that midfield. We don't need to drop back any more defensive than counter-attacking. Like we said before the start of the game, a draw would be a perfectly good result. Even from being 1-0 up with 20 minutes to go, we'd still be happy to come out of this with a draw. So we don't need to go super defensive. We've also won a penalty, so have the chance to go 2-0 up. And if we can go 2-0 up, then I'm very, very confident that this Bayern defence, which I can't really take any credit for because they were here when I got here, will hold on. And Michels makes it 2-0. It's his third goal of the season from our captain. That puts us comfortably top of our group. Michels is doing the wave whilst not looking at the goal penalty. This is a subtle variation of the Lukaku clap, which we'll be seeing for Manchester United this season, of course. Now he's made his transfer, but I hope he takes the Lukaku clap with him. If you don't know what the Lukaku clap is, you need to have a look at the Everton series that we did way back at the start of FM17. But that was a variant of it. That's called the Michels wave whilst not looking at the goal. It's not quite got the same ring to it. We're going to bring Vukotic on. We've done this once or twice. Just make him a deep lying forward. We don't want him on attack. Right, you will be a deep lying forward. You can be a complete forward on attack. See if I care. And he's not really any good at it, and it's just a placeholder until Malashev is fit again, and then Vukotic drops well back down the pecking order again. But it gets a few games into him here and there. He's on the favoured personnel list. We don't want to upset him too much. He's also on the transfer list, so hopefully we'll get rid of him in January. I thought we were going to squeeze another penalty out there. It was all happening behind my microphone. I'm not entirely sure what was happening, but I thought that was a full-time whistle, but it's actually Yule kicking one of the Sporting players. It doesn't even matter if he gets sent off at this stage. We're not losing this game now. He only picks up a yellow card, and that should be that. And indeed, it is. We pick up another couple of wins. We ended up completely dominating that game after a slow start. See, I'm going to take that as a tactical victory. And fingers crossed, everything carries on going as swimmingly as it is now. Let me know down in the comments how possible you think it is that we can go on and win the Bundesliga at the first time of asking. Just as a reminder of the league situation, we are top of the league after 9 games, which is more than halfway through the season in Germany because there's only 18 teams in the league, so we only play 34 games. So it's a significant chunk of the season, close to a third of the season gone. Dortmund are still hovering in mid-table, 9 points behind us. So we just, like we've said before, we just need to finish ahead of them and we should be fine. Hertha, Wolfsburg, Schalke, they've all been in and around the top 3 for the last 5 or 6 years. But Dortmund are the dominant force who are having an off-season just as we're having a resurgence. I think we can do it. Fingers crossed we can, and then we can move on to somewhere a little more exotic and a little bit further away. If you've enjoyed that, please make sure you pop a like on there for me. Subscribe to the channel if you'd like to see more, and thank you very much for watching.